So I want to go back and ask you a little bit more about the type of training that you do. You've seen that a lot of people are getting animals and dogs, especially in the pandemic hit, and you have all these pandemic
Oh
puppies,
yeah.
people adopting. And I was looking at the statistics, and they're saying that 90% of American households have some type of pet now. If you're looking at any type of social media, you'll see dogs everywhere. They're their own personalities. They have their own pages. They have their thing of toys and their special treats and all that.
Right,
And
right.
it's a big business,
It
and it's
is huge.
a bigger part of the zeitgeist nowadays. And have you noticed that change, and how has that impacted how you train or how you work with people and their animals?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and not because of that reason, but
Hmm.
okay, so I've been training well for so long that I was a traditional methods trainer. I used all those things I listed to the corrections and punishments and intimidation and coercion. Sounds bad because I mean, and it doesn't mean you're like, sit down and you're flinging the dog across. It doesn't mean that. It
Hmm.
just means it could mean something as simple as sit, yank. We see dog trainers on television doing that. Sit, pop, down,
Hmm.
pop. Then they don't do it, pop, we'll tighten it up, do this. Okay, so that's the way I learned. That's the way I learned 35 years. That's the way dog training was. Oh my gosh, leaps and bounds different today
Hmm.
because I educated myself. I continue to learn the science behind because it's a science. And this is what a lot of people don't want to recognize.
Hmm.
Dog training is psychology. It runs parallel to human psychology, this and learning theory and behavior. The same terms, the same people that because when you hear, I know everybody has heard of Pavlov's dog for
Yes.
classical conditioning. That
Hmm.
wasn't about dogs.
Hmm.
That was for humans.
Mm.
That was Pavlov was not studying the dog for
Hmm.
dog training. He was studying that behavior in dogs to apply it to humans. Well, everything that we have learned that the way humans learn, like I said, I use positive reinforcement. We do that with kids.
Yes.
Go home up, do your homework. When you come down and I can check it. If you did a good job, we'll go get some ice cream. So positive reinforcement, punishment, negative reinforcement, all of those are terms that are used in human psychology, when they're terms used in dog psychology also,
Hmm.
and classical conditioning also as well. I do, my dogs learn in patterns. Everything that you, like if you do the same thing every day at the same time, routine, 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 routine. Dogs learn it, they accept it, they go with it. You try to change that, they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. What? Humans do that too.
Hmm.
Humans are worse, in fact, of change, trying to change a human patterns. Oh my God. So anyway, all that information, when you really start thinking about it, you can say, because like, just like how raising children has changed, there are things called gentle parenting, which I know some people are like, whatever, but
Hmm.
people used to beat their kids.
Yes.
When I was still in school, when I was in elementary school, they had paddles.
Hmm.
Luckily, I told the line I was never hit in school, but some kids were. Some kids got taken to the cloakroom, pat pat. So that was still allowed in the 1960s,
Hmm.
and probably and definitely early 70s. Really, it was probably early 70s. But anyway, and then finally, it was like, what? No, teachers can't do that today.
Hmm.
They use punishment, but the punishment are timeouts, getting expelled, suspension, stuff like that. Parents, timeouts are terrible, taking away their cell phone,
Hmm.
taking away that you can't watch TV tonight, as opposed to many of us growing up, it was getting a belt or switch, whatever. I don't want to trigger anyone.
Hmm.
But anyway, so that has changed. Well, dog training has changed too. And unfortunately, some people haven't changed with the times with dog training. They are still doing very traditional things with dogs that we have learned you don't have to do. Now,
Hmm.
my main reason that changing is because it works without doing that. So
Hmm.
why would I do it? But you have to learn how. Like
Mm.
it's and a lot of people think positive reinforcement means giving them a treat. Here, sit, like bribing them. No, it's a technique to it. There's a lot of nuance to it, but you learn it. And that's what I did. I continue to learn. Like I told you, I just went to a conference a couple of weekends ago where I attended workshops and seminars. I'm continually learning, reading, attending seminars, and I'm not ever going to stop as long as I am actually training dogs.
Mhm.
So, because I want to know, there's things that would tell people, tell clients even 6 years ago that today, no, we've learned now, no, that isn't the case.
Mhm.
So I want to stay up to date. I don't want to tell people things that is not accurate. I don't want to end up looking foolish. I don't want to see video of myself saying something that I have to go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. So yeah, so and also important to note, none of that is required. The dog training industry, unfortunately, in the United States is completely unregulated.
Mhm.
Anyone can call themselves a dog trainer. And I mean, literally, you
Oh,
don't need any level of education. You don't need any licenses. You don't need any certifications. You
wow.
can literally hang up a shingle, make some business cards, hand them out, and start charging people for money. The only thing you might have to do, and this is also dependent on your town or your state, you might have to get a business license for 25 bucks or whatever. I can't even remember what it costs because I got mine so long ago. But anyway, whatever that a business license costs in your jurisdiction area or whatever, you might have to get that, but that's it. And that's the problem. And I always try to get that out to the general public, because when you hire someone for a service, you are doing it you're assuming that that person is qualified in some way and vetted in some way to call
Definitely.
themselves a professional. I
Mhm.
know that if I go, even if I call a plumber, I'm calling that plumber and I'm looking on their business thing. Now I look for stuff like this, but they might say master plumber, blah, 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 and have like the list of like their certification or whatever. I don't know. Someone building a deck on your house, anything, like any service, someone doing your hair, any service.
Mhm.
You're going there with the assumption that that person has been checked out and is a bona fide professional, right?
Exactly.
Dog training, you're taking a stab in the dark, and people have to know what to look for.
Mhm.
So now I'm going to also step in here and say certifications alone are not everything.
Okay.
They're not required. So at least a dog trainer who is certified with whatever organization, because there's several, has some type of certification, at least, at the very least, that is telling you that that person passed some kind of test, that someone has observed this person and said that this person passes some type of minimal standard. You know what I mean? As
Mhm.
opposed to if they don't have anything, they're completely self-taught and they have nothing to show, then you don't even have that.
Mhm.
Experience is the other. Some people will say, not have any of the certifications or anything, but they'll say, well, I've been doing it for 20 years, which is fine, but not if you've been doing the same thing for 20 years and have not grown with
Mhm.
the science and the industry. So what's good to look for is that the certifications or something of that
Mhm.
nature. Some study, and sometimes people might not have a certification, but they'll say, I worked with this trainer, attended workshops at here, attended this conference or whatever, am a member of a professional organization, blah, blah, blah. So they might have something else, but if they have that with a combination of experience that can be verified, then there you go. But what people don't look for that. And that's why I make a point to put it out there. You need to be looking for that, because uh, you could get taken for a lot of money. And it's not only the money, you could get someone that is going to tell you something that will harm your dog, maybe
Mhm.
not physically, but emotionally,
Mhm.
because
Mm.
dogs have feelings.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and they can build up fears, and they can get anxiety,
Mhm.
and yeah, there are a lot of things that we as humans can get. Dogs aren't human, And so I make sure that people say, no, they're not human, but they can get a lot of things, emotional damage in very similar ways that happens to humans if they're not treated in
Mhm.
the right way. So you really want to make sure. I mean, and what you mentioned was a beautiful thing of how there's so many more people getting pets today. And you see it with your clients, how well those pets live and how
Mhm.
they're taking care of them, because those pets are like their children.
Yes.
That's who my clients are. These are like their children.
Mhm.
And so I feel that when you're looking for a dog trainer, you should put the same amount of effort. You should vet that person the same way you would with someone that you are handing your child over to. So it's really not much different than that.